Imagine standing before a statue so massive it takes your breath away. A monument carved directly into a cliff face, 15 stories tall, watching over a valley for over 1,500 years. Now imagine it's gone, destroyed in a matter of seconds. This is the story of the Buddhas of Bamiyan, to colossal masterpieces that survived empires, earthquakes, and the march of time, only to fall to something far more destructive: ideology. The year is 507 AD. The Silk Road is bustling with traders, monks, and travelers. Afghanistan isn't a war zone. It's a crossroads of civilization where Buddhism flourishes in the shadow of the Hindu Kush mountains. In the Bamiyan Valley, something extraordinary begins. Monks and craftsmen don't just build statues, they carve them directly into the sandstone cliffs. The larger Buddha stands 55 meters tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty from her heel to the tip of her crown. The smaller one, still a towering 38 meters. But here's what made them truly remarkable. They weren't just stone. The Buddhas were plastered with mud and straw, then painted in brilliant colors. The larger Buddha wore flowing red robes. The smaller one gleamed in blue. Their faces were covered in gold masks that caught the sunlight, making them visible for miles across the valley. This wasn't just art, it was a statement. Buddhism had arrived, and it was here to stay. For centuries, these giants witnessed everything. They watched as Buddhism gave way to Islam in the 9th century. They survived the Mongol invasions. Genghis Khan's armies rode past them. So did the successors of Alexander the Great centuries before. When the Persian king Nader Shah invaded in the 1700s, he reportedly ordered his cannons to fire at the Buddhas. The cannonballs just bounced off. Even nature couldn't bring them down. Earthquakes that leveled entire cities. The Buddhas stood firm. European explorers in the 19th century were awestruck. They sketched them, photographed them, and spread word of these incredible monuments to the world. The Buddhas became one of Afghanistan's most treasured landmarks, a symbol of the country's rich, multicultural past. By the 1970s, tourists were visiting, families posed for photos at their feet, and students studied their craftsmanship. They were more than statues. They were a bridge between ancient and modern Afghanistan. Then came March 2001. Afghanistan was under Taliban control. Despite international outcry, despite pleas from other Muslim nations, and despite UNESCO declaring them World Heritage Sites, the order was given. These idols must be destroyed. For weeks, they attacked the Buddhas with anti-aircraft guns, but the statues endured. They drilled holes and planted dynamite. The Buddhas cracked, but stood. Finally, they packed the niches with tons of explosives. On March 11, 2001, the charges detonated. In a cloud of dust and debris, 1,500 years of history collapsed into rubble. The world watched in horror. This wasn't just about religion. This was cultural genocide. These weren't active temples demanding worship. They were empty statues, artistic heritage belonging to all of humanity. What the Taliban destroyed wasn't just stone. They destroyed proof that different cultures once coexisted peacefully in Afghanistan. They erased a chapter of human history that could never be fully rewritten. Today, if you visit the Bamiyan Valley, you'll find only empty wounds in the cliff face. But something interesting is happening. Archaeologists have returned. Using 3D laser scanning and thousands of photographs taken over decades, they've created perfect digital recreations. The Buddhas now exist in virtual reality. You can stand before them again, exactly as they were. In 2015, Chinese artists projected 3D light images of the Buddhas back onto the empty niches. For one night, the giants returned, glowing in the darkness. Locals wept. They remembered. There's an ongoing debate about physical reconstruction. Should we rebuild them? Can we? Or should we leave the empty niches as a memorial to what was lost? Meanwhile, fragments of the Buddhas are scattered in museums. Worldwide pieces of painted plaster, chunks of magnificent stonework. They are reminders of what once stood. But here's the thing about destroying culture. You might demolish the statue, but you can't erase its impact. The Buddhas of Bamiyan became more famous in death than they ever were in life. More people know their story now. More people understand what was lost. The Buddhas of Bamiyan stood for 1,500 years. They were destroyed in minutes. But their story, their legacy, that's eternal. Because every time we remember them, every time we tell their story, they stand again. Some losses can never be measured in stone alone. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as moving as I did, please consider subscribing for more stories from our shared human history.